Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. This is a fun one today, man. Not like it's not always fun, but today we have Steve from Famous Whips. So I've been around Steve a handful of times down at the quarantine cruise. Never actually met Steve, although I have taken donuts off of his table at his booth. So our buddy Ken Johnson, right? You know, who everybody knows, and if you don't know Ken, you will. Give it a minute. Ken's become involved in the channel a little bit in that he'll help source vehicles for us, which is just wonderful because it's a constant searching for great cars to shoot.
Yeah.
Ken's like, hey, Famous Whips, this truck and stuff, and it was almost like oh, and by the way, this Camaro. And then I see the Camaro, I was like, yes, let's shoot this car immediately. So here we are. Thanks, number one, for taking the time, dude, because I know it's a bit of a cruise for you and your wife to come up today.
Right. Thanks for the invite.
So let's dig in on her. Like I told you
Let's
before,
do it.
I know nothing about the car other than, I mean, I can tell it's a 69 Camaro. I know it's 69, and I'm guessing Cortez silver.
Yes.
See, I already know too much, and I told you I could smell the E85, so I know it's that.
Yep.
Now, I know off camera, you said you bought the car from
one of our followers.
From one of your followers. Correct. So it was already kind of built.
It was built. It had different wheels, different color calipers, 400 horse LS1 in it. It wasn't enough, so we threw a Pro Charger on it and it blew up the third pass on the dyno. So it threw a rod. Then it was time to build something cool.
So as far as what we see, other than like wheels, you said, like the body, the way it's done, the color, all that stuff is as you bought it, correct?
Yes.
Well, let's pop the hood then and jump into to see what you've done. The other thing is I can tell from the whistle, I know it's a Pro Charge car, right? Dude, what a clean, simple, bitchin' tidy engine bay.
I have a little OCD, so everything's hidden. Even the injectors are on backwards. Injectors usually sit out here and you see everything. No wires, all the plumbing goes under the car, intercooler, back up under the car to the intake.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what engine did you end up doing here?
So, obviously, let's keep it true to the 69, you know, the 427 deal. I went to my buddy at CBM. I said, all right, we need to build a motor. Let's go LS3. I said, can you do a 427? Yep, we can do a 427. Okay, make sure it says it on the invoice because I want it too.
I don't want to change the emblems, right?
Right. So he built a 427 stroked out, and we've got 16 pounds of boost.
So you're making good power out of it.
It's pretty
What did it kick on the dyno, I'm curious?
So it only has 700 miles on it. So when I dynoed it had like 400. So we kicked the rev limiter in at 6,200 RPMs. So it's not even close to the real power.
Sure.
And we fattened it up a lot just because it's new. It did 768 to the wheel. But he was super surprised.
You can still push
well, we can get it up to 7,200 RPMs and then it'd be fun. But it already, as it is, it doesn't hook up. So
there's no
it's pointless.
And this is one, I know a lot of you guys, you hear it from me on a regular basis, but I love all the numbers. I make 1,000, I make 1,200, I make all this power. Cool, that means you blow through your tires faster. Because I know you ain't hooking up. Come on, man. I don't care how well the car is set up, dude. Take traction off of any of the hypercars of today and they just blow the tires off, you know?
Right, so that's what helps you.
That's still in that space of usable horsepower.
Being a Pro Charger, I feel like it's delayed power.
Yeah.
If you launch it and get on it hard, it doesn't break the tires loose. Now, if you keep your foot in it at like 5,500 RPMs, it just breaks them loose.
Yeah.
And then you go through the gears and it's all loose. But if you shift it at 5,000 the whole time, you're just stuck to the seat. That's bitchin'. You know? So it's kind of cool.
So cool, man. So as far as that goes, then what does it mate to? Transmission,
It's got a Tremec 6-speed in it. McLeod's capable of 1,000 horsepower clutch in it because it's got to hold it. It's got a 9-inch back there with 370 gears in it. It likes to go 80 in 6th gear, and sometimes you can't, so you got to be in 5th all the time. But
yeah. Platform-wise, is it still the stock subframe?
No. It's got Chris Alston, pretty much a complete frame underneath it. It's got the front clip, then it's got the subframe connectors all welded up into the rear frame. It's got a Detroit mini tub in the back. It's got a 335 tire back there. Coil over all the way around.
So is it a 4-link rear on the car?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry to say it, I don't mean it in a bad way in any sense, but it's all the kind of obvious stuff to do when you start jacking the power like this. Is you better get the platform underneath, otherwise we're getting
solid.
A lot of
Yes. Absolutely.
It's just so tidy and clean. Now, was like the tin work that's all in here?
No, that was done by one of my buddies at a fab shop in Redlands.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's all very classy, tastefully done.
Thank you.
I love the firewall all cleaned up like this. It's really slick. What is the Master? I don't see a name. Is that like?
It's a really cool setup. Obviously, you can tell we couldn't have put a Hydro Boost there or even a booster. There's just no room. The last line in the back is hydraulic. So when you hit the brakes, that little hydraulic line tells the sensor to kick on, and then there's your assistant.
So it's a hydraulic assisted.
Hydraulic assisted electric.
Bitchin'.
Weird, but it's awesome. And you never hear it on unless you hit the brakes.
I was saying to my buddy Chris off camera before we got rolling is, for me on old Camaros, like the Cortez Silver is such, it's never gonna be an outdated color.
I love it, but it's so understated. Pictures, it looks like it's primer. I'll take a really cool picture that I think looks really cool, and then I'll look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like it's primer. So it's one of those deals you gotta live with. But if it was black, you know, whoever did the bodywork and paint on this thing, it's laser straight.
It's really clean. I mean, the obvious, like noticing right away, looking at your bumpers, how clean they are. And I like, it's funny, I go back and forth, dude, on like this, the monochromatic look versus chrome. And, you know, times change within builds, but this, I can't say why, but it just really personally works for me. Like if the car's all black and it's blacked out bumpers, now, cool, but now it's starting to look dated because now I see a lot of builders coming back to chrome, right? But I think with the Cortez Silver, personally, I think.
Almost looks like the chrome, right?
I don't think it dates itself, you know? And I mean, like everyone, I'm just a guy with an opinion, so it's not like it means anything, but you know. So I'm guessing on the lights, they're not flip open, right?
Yes, they are.
They are?
Yeah. So it's got a Detroit speed, I think makes the electric setup instead of hydraulic.
Yes. What is your brake setup on here?
So it's got the 14-inch front rotors, 6-piston front caliper, 4-piston rear.
Yep, and all Willwood, I see.
Yeah. And they were red. You know, I just felt like everybody has red calipers, right?
Yeah.
So I just swapped it out to the GM blue. So it's got a lot of metallic in it when the sun hits it just right. And I just think it just kind of like, I'm here, but it's subtle.
Again, that's another one of those that I think is becoming the bright red caliper, the bright yellow caliper. Super cool.
Yes,
dating itself right now because it's been so done up until recent times.
Right.
So I'm seeing more of a return to more subtle approach on calipers. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You just changed your wheels recently,
I just changed the wheels recently, so it took about 6 to 8 weeks to get them. It's a floating star. There's some guys that build this floating star, but they're like $13,000. So I found this company, VT Forged. It's their design, but there you go. There's the floating star, concave in the rear, very little concave in the front. I just think it finally finished the car off.
Oh, they look great. And I like the choice to go polished and then.
Yeah, the old wheels were all gray. They kind of look like plastic. It made the car look a little cheap, in my opinion. And I know I don't have much chrome, but the door handles are, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of blends with those door handles and the windshield wipers.
Yeah.
But
what are your sizes on wheels and
so
tires?
18 by 9's in the front, 18 by 12 is in the rear. Fronts are like a 265, and the rears are 335s.
Nice, you got all that
Yeah.
rubber back there. And when you're up here looking at it, you don't even notice it.
No.
But when you see that car leaving, man, and you see those fat, it's such a sexy look, isn't it, man?
I love it. Yep.
Cool friggin' license plate, bro.
You know, here's the deal. So obviously, good old DMV, they give you like 3 options to pick, right? So you pick it out, spelling it the correct way. Nope, it's taken. Another way, it's taken. So obviously, it's all kind of backwards, but you get the point. Charged SS, right?
Very clear. Very clear, especially when you see that and you hear the whistle of the Pro Charger. It's like, I get it, dude.
Right.
Like, this is another thing that stands out to me is the tail light, how clean they are, the bezel. So that's all replacement lighting.
Right. And it's not LED, believe it or not. It's just your regular nice bulbs inside of it, but it looks LED.
Sure does. The other thing too is like on your glass here, I didn't notice up front. Yes. Same thing here, how all the trims
painted
like
the same color. Yeah.
It really does give it a flush mount look.
It really does. And the flush mount look is just so much work to get them to look good. If the car's not straight or not perfect,
all the metal you have to
gotta
fill
do
in
so
to bring it to the glass. It's staggering how much work
but they
that
do
is.
look gorgeous when they're done.
They do. I never have a problem seeing trim on a classic car because it's always been there. The other one, I love when they do shaved drip rails. I love when they do just the shadow drip rail, but I got no problem seeing a drip rail left on a car because it's part of the car.
So this car, believe it or not, supposedly the car started life as going to the body shop and started getting done, and there was a lot of rust. So the owner said, nope, buying a brand new body. So this is a brand new Camaro. This is why your drip rails look so cool and perfect.
Yeah, like Dynacorn or one of those companies.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. Again, it's like the purists, God
Right.
bless them, man. I mean, like, seriously, I wish them all the best. But I've been around enough numbers matching all original
Right.
cars. You talk about it, you're like, oh, it's so rad. It's only got 3,500 miles and blah, 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 blah. And then you get in, you drive it, you're like, wow, this thing's a horrible piece of shit. And then you do a full rebuild to it. You remove all the original panels. You put on stuff that fits beautifully and
Right.
everything. Okay, yeah, so the originality's gone.
It's gone.
Well, guess what? It's gone on the whole damn car.
Right.
Like, do we really care?
Do you want to drive and enjoy it, period?
How about exhaust? Because the car sounds.
So the exhaust was already on the car. Thank God
Okay.
I didn't have to change much of that. It's all 3-inch ceramic coated, all the way to the axle.
Do you
I want to
bring
get it all the
over?
way out the back.
You do. Do you get a drone inside the car at all?
It does. It
Yeah.
does have the quietest MagnaFlows. They're like the 22-inch, 24-inch, whatever they are. They're the biggest ones we could put in it. The car's kind of quiet for what it is. I know if I had a different muffler, it would be pretty radical, but it's already good enough. I like to get on the freeway and just drive it. On the freeway, it's good. Around town, it's loud. It's got a crazy sound system in it, and I can't hear the sound system.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys, man, when they sound like this,
That is your sound system,
ain't
right?
getting turned
No,
on.
no,
Yeah,
got
I'm
it.
enjoying.
Got it.
This is another one that stands out to me a lot on cars. I got to tell you, dude, I love seeing stock door handles nowadays.
I'm 100% door handle type of guy. Yeah, they look cool shaved and stuff, but I want it to work every single time, and I want to walk up to it and it works. And
Same way.
it's just so clean looking. Now, there is some companies out there that are making some really cool billet. They're still factory
For sure.
looking. You know, they're $800-800. And I also was thinking of doing the mirrors and those carbon fiber, really cool $2,800 mirrors. But I don't know if I want to pull the trigger yet.
So my favorite point always, interiors of cars, because where do we spend our time?
Interior.
Wow, dude, was the interior done when you bought the car?
The interior was done, and it's crazy because I've used Ron Mangus. I don't know if you've heard of Ron Mangus.
course.
And when I bought the car, I started reading through the invoices. I'm like, I called Ron. I said, hey, I just bought a car you did. So Ron Mangus did this interior, but this interior's probably been done 2012, 2011. So it's been in here for 11, 12 years.
It looks really good.
I love it. I did want to change some patterns, and I talked to him last Friday, and he says, Steve, he says, I don't know if you know this. I said, well, what's up? He says, these patterns are 1970 correct. He says, in 1970s, and he gave me the whole history on the whole thing. This is 1970s, and the car's a 69. He says, this is why we did it. And I'm like, okay, I'm leaving it.
That's
Because
pretty.
it's got the suede headliner with the same setup on top.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I guess I can live with it.
And I mean, let's be honest. If Ron says you should leave it,
What-
he's a legendary interior
Oh,
guy.
he's
you know,
amazing,
man?
yes.
Ron, please don't take this in the wrong way in any way whatsoever. It's funny nowadays how things move at such a rapid pace that they date themselves.
Right.
But even seeing like the Billet Specialties
Right.
wheel, a car used to take quite a while to date itself. Now it seems like within 4 or
Couple
5
years, yeah.
years, there's a pretty big shift that
Correct.
happens in design, you know?
Correct.
Can we light up the gauges to see?
They're just your odometer. That is one of the deals that I still want to go through. So when we had red calipers, red gauges were cool, right? So now we've got blue calipers, those gauges got to go. So I've been
gotcha.
trying to figure out what gauges to put in, but as you can see, that's a Detroit Speed also dash setup in there.
Oh, it is there.
So I think I'll probably go back with the analog, the same setup, just a different color.
That's a stiff clutch pedal.
She is. It's got to hold that power, right?
You're earning it. Is this turn
Door
signals?
locks. Door locks?
Door locks.
Yes. Yes.
So door locks, and then this is for all four
All
of
the
your
windows, yes.
here?
Yes.
Nice. A good buddy of mine is a builder, Jason, Timeless Customs, drives me nuts. Every once in a while, I've seen him do cars where all four of them are over
Got it.
on the side panel here. So if I'm sitting in the passenger seat, hey, can you roll down my window a little? No, not quite that much. Can you put it back up? Yeah, okay, yeah, it's good. Sorry, Jason, you know I love you, buddy. Do you know what these seats are from?
Those seats are out of like a 2002 Camaro. So they're comfortable. I was gonna cut them, make them a little lower, but after you sit in there and you drive it for a while, they're comfy. So they're staying.
Dude, I don't blame you at all. These are really comfortable. Plus, check this out, they're powered. I know I'm moving slow, but I am moving.
But then it also has that really cool dash that Mangus built and set in there. They don't, I mean, you don't see that.
Really slick, and then I notice a microphone
Right.
here, so you can actually yell while
Right,
you're
there you
talking,
go.
driving
Right.
down the road. And
Correct.
dude, obviously, smart to have AC. And I noticed there's a lot of vents in here, man. I mean,
You know
1,
what?
2,
This is
3,
one of-
4, 5 vents in here.
I've built a lot of cars with vintage AC and different aftermarket ACs units, and the volume that they push out is, you need more. I've always asked, do you have a blower motor that's on steroids? I need it.
Right.
This thing is awesome.
And what is this vintage?
It's vintage.
It is,
yes.
yeah. Cool car. I know there's more that we can talk about, but let's we'll put cameras in, we'll go for a drive, and we'll talk more about it.
Sounds like a plan.
Bitchin'. We're going for a drive, you guys.
Man, that blow-off valve is loud.
Such a bitchin' sound, man. All the forms of boost have their own, obviously their own unique characteristic, but the sounds they make are so different, you know? And I always say this when somebody lets me drive their car, and I genuinely mean it. Thank you for letting me drive your car.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Got it.
So how long ago did you buy the car, and how long has it been now done in the condition it's currently in?
You know, it's been exactly a year since I bought it, and then I blew it up, and then I did everything I did to it.
Oh.
So now.
So it's been less than a year that you've had it as we're driving it right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I like there's so many ways to do an interior, right? There's the one-off Gabe's and Avant-Garde and Ron Mangus, and that where you've completely forgotten what car you're sitting in because nothing is retained.
Correct.
I like when there's things like
your factory,
the ashtray and the glove box, and there's factory looking stuff here.
100%.
You still intersection.
You still feel like you're in an old car.
No, I still know I'm in a Camaro. You know what I mean? Obviously, a full Restomod, which is what I love. But
yeah,
nice car, dude. I've gotten to this point where I think, all right, enough with doing 69 Camaros. We've seen enough of them. And then you see one nicely done, you're like, oh yeah.
Let's do it again.
Super bitchin' car. Yeah, it's such a wonderful body style, you know, it really genuinely is.
It's crazy how many there is, and it was a 1-year car.
Isn't that wild?
You know, just like
67's different, 8's different. It's so, you know, something we didn't talk about. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, I introduced you as Steve from Famous Whips. Why don't you talk a little bit for anyone watching that's actually interested in it? What is Famous Whips?
So Famous Whips is a listing agency that sells your cars, helps put it out on social media. You go onto the website, hit list, you download your pictures, your description, pay your bill, and then we take over from there.
Because you said you're running 16 pounds of boost currently?
Yes.
Tell you what though, it drives, I mean, dude, it drives nice.
Right?
I love the articulate motion of a Tremec, man.
100%.
It's really nice. And so far, obviously, I haven't gone through any turns yet, but the car feels Oh, right on, brother. Thank you, man. I love it too, because I get to drive other people's cars all the time. Thank you, bro.
That's rad, right? I love that.
That kind of shit, man. That people see me and they get fired up because they love what the channel's about. Bro, I can't tell you how good that shit feels to me, man.
That's rad.
I like the suspension on this. Like it feels nice to me, you know?
It feels hot.
I mean, it's stiff enough to know you're in a pro touring car, but it's, you know, we're hitting some decent bumps and it's not...
It takes it.
No bump steer happening. Oh. It's not upsetting the car at all, you know? Really, like, I mean, pretty bitchin'.
Right.
So how many, just out of curiosity, how many cars do you have personally?
I have 5 now.
Oh, that sound, man. So good, dude.
Right?
noticed your pedals are set really nicely because
I want to get the aftermarket ones because they're all billet and bitching. But
no, I get it. But as far as foot positioning,
yeah,
I hadn't tried to rev match under braking yet.
Right.
And I was able to just blip it with my foot on the brake.
Right
like
there.
They're positioned in a really nice place.
Correct.
You know? Yes, sir. That'll work for one of them.
That'll do it, right?
Damn. That's just a whole shit ton of power waiting to take over right there.
She does
brother.
good. I'll go turn around up here.
I just love American V8 horsepower. I genuinely, gosh, man, I appreciate all the forms of horsepower, but I am flat out in love with V8 horsepower. V8 sounds, the whole experience of it. Even American V8 versus, I mean, hell, AMG, great V8. There's plenty of good Euro V8s.
Oh, 100%.
None of them sound like this to me.
Right? She's getting hot.
Is it?
I don't know if it's just standing still too long. I've never really had an issue. I haven't turned off the AC. See, it's like 240.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm running and now it's dropping back down. So I think she just needs airflow.
Yeah, sure, I get it. It's so funny with custom cars. I try to explain it so often to people how, you know, you build it, you get it to where it's roadworthy and stuff. You drive it, you find little things.
Right.
Hopefully not major things, right?
Right. And it's like never stops.
Yeah, and then once you get it just right, you start all over basically.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
You get 1,000 or 2 out of it where it's happy, and then you find little things.
And then you get to that point where like, oh, it's time to sell it, and you sell it, and you start all over again.
And the whole thing, yeah. Yeah, it just wants to spin. I feel it trying to hook up.
Oh yeah.
But it's spinning.
Oh yeah.
I noticed the other little one. Obviously, you notice it. Your accelerator hanging up a little bit.
It's I think it's in the tune too.
Yeah. No, there's no question.
Especially being a little warmer than usual.
Yeah.
She likes to stay up there a little bit.
Woo! God dang, I just love this shit, dude.
So much fun.
Well, that, my friends, is just a simple, cool, badass 69 Camaro. Classic looks, the stance is right, the wheels are right. Yeah, there's some mild sorting to be done. I mean, it's still, you heard him talk about it. I mean, he bought the car a year ago and did everything he did to it. So there's still, you know, some mild things to be done on it. But look, you got a car making close to 800 horsepower at the tire, and that's on a mild tune on the car. So I think he's got a real badass. It was fun to finally meet Steve. Get to spend some time with him. Definitely going to dig into his company, Famous Whips, as I do have a car or two here that I have to sell for clients. So I highly recommend taking a look at Famous Whips when you get a second. And as always, you guys, a massive thanks for hanging and watching what we do and continuing to support the channel. At this point, you know, the growth just keeps happening, and it's because you guys support what we do. So truly, thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.